In this video, I just show my practice of preparing for handstand. It doesn't mean that it has to be your practice. It's just to give you some ideas. This is still a work in progress for me. I've been trying to do handstand for many years and I have some fear regarding it, and I'm just building up slowly to be able to do not the final pose, but some kind of preparations that are really helping me integrate. So the first thing, I bring myself to the present moment with the sitting in swastikasana. Knees are about the same level from the floor, and the legs are crossed in the middle of the shin. I pressed my fingers into the support to lengthen my spine. I find my crown chakra, grow it up towards the ceiling, finding my tail, grow it down, and connect my inner cylinder to the universe, at least in my imagination. Notice the tension in the hands, release the palm of the hand, widen the palm of the hand, and expand the chest. Extend through your crown chakra, extend through the tail, release the inner thighs where it meets the pelvis. That always tends to tighten up when you are lengthening up your spine. So release that. So as everything that touches the floor releases down, you can extend up. You might feel that if there is kind of a release of everything around a central channel, so you don't have to make too much effort. And there might be a sensation in the lower abdomen of like the full moon rising in the lower abdomen. Let your eyes drift back. Let softness come to your face, to the back skin. And find the balance between effort and surrender. And for the invocation, we will chant Om together 3 times. Bring the palms to the center of the chest. Close your eyes. And embody with your mouth the cylinder with the syllable O. We are chanting Om 3 times. Om. 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 The end of an exhalation, bring your arms down, open your eyes, stretch out through your legs that sit in wide-legged pose, Upavishta Konasana, to stretch through the inner thighs, activate the inner leg meridians, kidney, liver, and spleen. They are very important in handstands and in inversions, because they are connected to the tail. The inner thighs, according to Iyengar, are important in anti-aging. So stretching the inner thighs while still maintaining the inner cylinder and the connection with the divine is a part of the practice in Iyengar Yoga. And Upavishta Konasana kind of creates that wideness in the lower abdomen and in the inner thighs. And from there, I'm going to start with a few yogic abdominals that will help me connect the inner channels of the legs, the inner thighs, and the foot to the cylinder inside my body that is actually extending in my imagination to infinity. So that's basically the yogic core. Is, you see, I'm putting a block in between my thighs to kind of activate those inner channels as I lengthen them. Feet towards the ceiling, widen the balls of the foot, extend through the inner heel, and you're going to bring the butt away from the bolster. That didn't work so well for me. My head was not comfortable. I'm going to bring a blanket. Make yourself as comfortable as possible in these exercises. Yeah, now I have some padding. So well, if you bring the head, your head releases back into the hands, elbows towards the ceiling. That kind of gives a hint to the flexors to engage. And it helps with the action of belly towards the spine and integrating the core. I decided to do it without the bolster. Yeah. And you try to bring it slow and not use momentum, but I do use a little bit momentum. Widen the balls of the feet, find the inner channels, and as you extend the inner heel up to the ceiling, the belly, which is the home of a lot of these meridians, goes back towards the spine. So you find extension in the leg at the same time as the torso integrates. Lower ribs go towards the spine, the transversus lifts basically the legs. Take breaks when you need to. Make sure that the head does not really lift because of some effort in the neck or the throat, but more because of the pressure of the back to the back. So you're basically shape shifting in order to lift the legs and to lift the head. The head basically releases back towards the fingers. So as we integrate what is called the core, we are trying to distribute the effort into places that are not usually working. So you don't want to collapse everything on your shoulder when you're doing a handstand. You want to be able to use your legs, use your core, use your whole cylinder to lift you up, so that not everything is on the poor shoulders. or the neck for that matter. So that was you repeat like maybe 10 times, 3 times. I learned it from Susan de Marais. This exercise is kind of you're moving between Ekapada Sarvangasana into Setu Bandhasana. I have 2 blocks on the flat side under my pelvis. I am holding a chair, and this is Setubandha Sarvangasana variation into Ekapada Sarvangasana. I'm trying to extend through the legs, and connect to the belly at the same time. Widen the balls of the feet. There is a height under my shoulders so that my neck doesn't have a problem with that. It's a very invigorating pose, but it requires I a little bit drop on the blocks. It should be a very controlled movement. But you use the leg to come up to the chair as well as the core. Yeah. So it teaches you the connection between the extension of the leg, extension of the hip, and counterbalance, stabilizing the pelvis. Stabilizing the pelvis, not using the psoas or the flexors of the hip so much. Shifting the balance into the transverses, the inner thighs, working on the inner meridians. So you do that a few times in each leg, and you're going to take a block again to activate those meridians and come to leg lifts on the blocks. So this is a very nice way to do leg lifts, because you have some support for your pelvis, lengthening of the lower back. For those of us like me that like to use the lower back, this is an exercise this contraption I learned from Dassa Oppenheimer. She lived to be 103. She was one of Iyengar's first students. So, yeah. In order to bring the blocks out, you lift your pelvis, you come down. You see my whole torso is on this support, which is higher than where my head is. But now, I think I'm going to take that thing out. Yeah. So I'm going to take that platform that was under me away. Take the platform under me away. And I'm going to do Jatara Parivartasana, stomach churning pose, which integrates the obliques. Serratus, really great for stabilizing, creating like a mummy out of yourself. Wrapping the inner cylinder with another cylinder of fascia. All right, I grab the legs of the chair. The front legs of the chair I grab with my hands. And I'm looking for all kind of stuff. Yeah, grab the legs of the chair with your hands so that the elbows are on the floor, and you're going to press the hands away from each other to stabilize yourself. When you come to one side, you're going to bring the legs towards the belly and then bring the feet towards a line on the floor in line with your elbow, and in this case your shoulders. And at all times you're going to press the upper arms into the floor. Easier version is with bent legs. There's less torque. And you see, as I exhale, bring my knees to the chest and then bring my knees towards one elbow. I stabilize myself with pulling the legs of the chair away from each other. Trying to find the chain, lats, serratus, obliques, transversus. Again, we do it. Chaturanga Parivartasana, straight legs, inner heels extend, widen the balls of the feet. Press the upper arm into the floor to create a controlled movement, not using momentum. Lower ribs down to the floor, back to the floor. And that is kind of the abdominal preparation. It's definitely not the only way to prepare for inversions, but it's one way. I have other ways I use. Here we're going to do downward dog now as we prepare for the handstand. I like to use something under my wrists because I have some collapsed wrists, arthritis in my trapezium, which actually runs in the family, but I'm learning to use my Hasta Bandha, the lift of the wrist from actions of the other parts of the hand. But I'm not there yet. So here I am, I started downward dog and now I'm going to a three-legged dog with my feet on the chair. To just prepare a little bit myself for the harder pose, the legs up the wall. So in order to prepare yourself for legs up the wall, you can do legs up the chair or legs up blocks. It creates an extension, more space for your spine to extend. The next one, I'm going to do legs up the wall. So that was a preparation for legs up the wall. And I am contemplating what to do. What do I need? So first get rid of the chair. Find get rid of the padding. So to do legs up the wall, you measure your leg length and you put your hands where your leg length away from the wall. And then when you climb your legs up, you are at 90 degrees to the wall. The key to that is not bringing the shoulders, not collapsing the shoulders towards the back, but keeping the shoulders integrated. So I'm measuring. I'm taking my Well, that was my assumption that that's my leg, the leg length, but no, it's not my leg length. So you put the heel of the hand where the heel of the legs, the heel of the feet were. Okay, that was my appreciation. And I am first on hands and knees trying to find my inner channel. So I imagine my crown chakra extending and then my tail extending, and I move forward and back a little bit just to feel the length of my spine. So I'm not crunching, tucking, untucking, arching. So the main thing is finding your inner channel, finding your soul, your inner core, and being there as much as you can. So this is a short dog. I lift through my tail, and I decided I need a belt. Well, I have tons of belts, so it's going to be a long, long process of finding the belt. Found it. So when you are finding a belt, this is a Puna belt from the Iyengar tradition. You find you put the belt either above the elbow or below the elbow, but not on the elbow. Okay, not on the elbow. I like to put it just below the elbow so that my head can release down to the floor. And now I'm basically widening the balls of the hand, finding the shoulders, lats, the back of the ribs back, lift through the abdomen, and take your legs up. Okay, now it is kind of a 90-degree angle. Extend through the legs. And it's very easy here to just bring the ribs, just the ribs forward. You try to bring the lower ribs back to integrate the core and hug the Oshashuna. So we're going to do that again. What am I looking for? All right. So I'm going to do again that same. This is a repetition pose. And this time I'm going to take one leg back. So I am taking one leg back. Take the shoulders back towards forward towards the front wall. Integrate the pelvis, stabilize the sacrum. It does help with the balance, of course, if you take one leg back like a seesaw, it balances the front leg. It's just a matter of fear. That was my attempt at legs up the wall. The next one I'm going to do is try to jump to handstand, and probably you don't have a trampoline, but I have a trampoline, a little trampoline that helps me a little bit with the leg power to come up to the handstand. So I'm going to use that trampoline to help me kind of with the propeller to come up. I will need a belt. I use a bolster also to help my shoulders not collapse towards the wall. That's the main thing, and find the full length of my upper arms. It's a work in progress, okay, but I show you a work in progress, how I work with this. It's definitely not an easy thing for me, but I think I become lighter and lighter as time goes on, and my body begins to be more comfortable with this. Here I'm trying to do a handstand upside down, trying to bring the lower ribs back. I need to bring them a little bit more back and extend through the arms in a way without weight bearing. So it's a good exercise to do the Tadasana, like the Urdhva Hastasana, to find the alignment that you need for your handstand. So I lost my original belt, I guess. Here it is. I found it again. Good. And now you need the pads for your wrists. I put the bolster for my head. I forgot the pad. That's okay. You also see the ropes I have on the wall. That is another way to do it. I will do another video on that. My main yoga teacher is Zoe Stewart, and I learned a lot from her about the ropes. All right, so first I find my inner channel, lifting up through my tail, find the full length of the arms. It's easier with a belt before I go forward, okay, and now, okay, I found that I was too close to the bolster. So all of it is, the more props you have, the more adjustment you have on how you're going to do it. Yeah, I'm walking in. I have a lot of length because I'm on the trampoline. I also have a lot of momentum. I don't have to push as I walk in, I don't have to push the kicking leg too much on the floor. So I get a little bit of a help so I don't get myself too tired. My main concern is the shoulders, keeping the shoulders from going into the wall. That's my kind of bringing my butt to the wall and away from the wall a few times. Feel comfortable. Find the line. To take the butt away from the wall requires some kind of integration. And I'm resting. I'm going again. Yeah. Find the Sushumna. Find the connection to the arms. The arms are connected the shoulders is connected through the collarbones into the sternum, so it's the front. They're not connected in the back. So bring the back ribs a little bit more back. Okay, that's great. Now extend through the legs, find the inner channels of the legs that will connect directly into the core. Directly into the core. And then come down. So, work in progress. So I think I had my fill of this handstand practice. So I'm going to do some headstand, shoulder stand preparation, and a shoulder stand family. I chose to do legs up the wall, but first the headstand. I take the sleeves off my elbows, make sure the outside of the elbows are in line with the outside of the shoulders. Walk in. I come up to headstand. Headstand is another thing all by itself. Lift the shoulders, press the forearms into the floor, lift the shoulders, find the inner line, extend through the inner heel, widen the balls of the foot. Yeah, that's a good idea. Take the legs away from each other to find the inner line again when you bring them together. Yeah. Press the wrists into the floor. And that was a short one. And I do when you do a headstand, you do the shoulder stand afterwards a little bit longer. I found the Viparita Karani with legs up the wall is the shoulder stand family pose that I'm going to do. I think it's going to take me to the Shavasana too. I find something to put my head on. I have another video in which I show another way to come into it. This is a somersault. It puts you directly into the pose, but you have to really put the back of the head into the floor, and kind of slide it in order to bring the. So this is a wonderful position. You bring energy and blood circulation to your center of mass. It is like a lake there, the pelvis on the bolster, and then there is a trickle into the chest. You open the chest, press the back of the head a little bit into the support to open the front of the neck, widen the heels of the hand, widen the palms to open through the shoulders. And it's definitely a cooling, but it's not a complete shavasana. It can be a substitute for shavasana, which I use it here. Widen the balls of the feet. You still act. There's still some action. Extension through the legs. And release the lower abdomen. To come out of it, you bend your knees, you roll to the side, and then you come up to a sitting position. And thank you for watching. Ben?